And we therefore come to item number 8, the adoption of recommendations from the Finance and Performance Committee meeting today relating to the recovery budget. I will move that way. Councillor Simpson will second. Are there any questions?
Yes, please, Your Worship.
Councillor Sayers.
Thank you very much. Just around, in the earlier F&P meeting, some of the councillors noted their vote against certain items. Probably need to reflect that again in this item. And so my question is there the possibility for us, particularly around 1D, to do that by division, please?
At the earlier meeting, councillors agreed that they would note their disagreement with it. But if you wish to call a division for a formal vote on any of the issues, you are of course entitled to.
I'll do that, Your Honour. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Are there any comments? If not, I'm sorry, Councillor Fletcher.
I apologise profusely because I was not able to be present for the first part of the Finance Committee, but I expressed myself at the Finance Committee on perhaps some of the concerns that I've got, and I don't want to labour the point too strongly here, and I appreciate everything that has been done. I know that the vexed issue of renewals is one that we really need to keep working on, and having led Legacy Auckland City to actually adopt 100% depreciation, I can see the importance of depreciation and the commitment that we collectively have to make to it. I am, however, mindful of the way in which we have an expectation of our public. Some of the debate that I've heard through the 150 odd hours of workshops is, well, we're just not communicating it properly, and we have to show them the value for money. And yes, I understand all of those things, but I sat down last night and thought about it in a very reflective way, and I just want to put on the table, in my own situation, what do I earn here? 100,000 a year, 105, 107,000, something like that. Every 3 months with this budget at 5%, I'm going to have to find $5,000. $5,000. And in the community that I have lived for a long time, there are a lot of people like me who are living on properties. In the case of my own, it is a large property, but it's a quarry face. It can't be developed. It's not one that lends itself nice and flat and we'll just put a whole lot of townhouses on it. And I love it. And I would like to think that I share it in terms of community functions and groups. And but $5,000 every month, it's not just a cup of coffee. It's actually a little bit more. And I know that we have made the provision for rates remission, and it'll look a bit sad, I suppose, if the council is coming along with the rate remission application. But I've been there 42 years, and around me there are a whole range of people. At the time that I bought that house, that area in what was Legacy Auckland City was deemed to have the most social deprivation in Auckland. And at that time, Esplanade Road had the highest density of population of anywhere in Auckland. And it's been a remarkably cohesive community where everybody, and perhaps it's just been really reinforced to me today, attending St Barnabas Church, where I have attended, for the last 40 odd years. But all of the people that I know that love that area are all involved in community projects and things. And it's that all-pervading feeling which is, well, you're jolly lucky to be there, and if you can't afford to stay there, you should cash up and move on. And there's a lot of people who might be perceived to be wealthy on paper, but as we know, as we know, the way in which our rates are based on capital valuation and so forth, but they don't necessarily equate to the income that people have. And what I have a difficulty with here today, by consigning ratepayers to the 5%, and I can understand the impassioned work that we've all put into many a project, and I understand, as I've already told you, that the need that we've got to get that infrastructure in before we see that growth coming into areas. We've got to get ahead of that curve. And that's why I felt so strongly about the unitary plan being staged. But can we consign those people to situations that are just not affordable for them? So for that reason, very respectfully, I would like my vote recorded against the 5%. And I hope that we have the opportunity, and working closely with our CEO as we go into next year's budget, of having a real reset and going, as the Chair of Finance has reminded us on many occasions, we're going to be going out for consultation in a sort of mini LTP going forward, and I look forward to participation in that. But I wonder that we have asked the right questions of our officers. I know our officers have tried very hard, but it comes back to the brief. And has the brief been sufficient to actually take into account the financial circumstances of these terribly uncertain times? And in the case of the young ones that are moving into areas with the prospect of interest rates going up, I mean, it's a muddly old time in the world. If you're an older person, you probably want to see interest rates go up. If you're younger, you certainly don't want to see them going up. I've waffled on long enough. But, Your Worship, respectfully, I would ask that my vote, when it comes to that, if we are to have a division, that's fine, I can record it. But in closing, I'd like to thank all of those who've worked so very hard on the LTP and look forward to working on next year's budget.
Thank you. Are there any further comments? If not, I'll put the vote, and I've had a request for a division on A1D. So I'll do it in sections. A1 to C. All of those in favour, please say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. I declare it carried. We have a division called for in A1D, which relates to the 5% average general rate increase for 1 year and 3% thereafter. So I will ask Sandra to record votes on this item.
Councillors, you are voting on A1D. Mayor Goff.
Aye.
Councillor Bartley.
Yes.
Councillor Casey.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Cashmore.
Aye.
Councillor Collins.
4.
Councillor Coombe.
Aye.
Councillor Dalton.
Aye.
Councillor Darby.
4.
Councillor Filipina.
Aye.
Councillor Fletcher.
No.
Councillor Henderson.
Support.
Councillor Hills.
Aye.
Councillor Mulholland.
4.
Councillor Newman. Councillor Sayers.
Aye.
Councillor Simpson. Councillor Stewart. No. Councillor Walker.
No.
Councillor Watson. No. Councillor Young. That's carried 15 votes to 5.
Thank you. We'll now take A2 through to 14, unless there's any division called on any of those items. I'll put A2 to 14. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. To the contrary, no. I declare that carried. We come now to paper number 9, which is the adoption of recommendations